This is not a Buddhist lifetime. This is not a spiritual one either. It is just a human one now. Being amongst people now is not so hard. Being between friends is not so hard now. Being a person who is the odd one out in a group is not so hard. Being the only girl in the group is not so hard. Being the single girl is not hard. Being the awkward person who doesn't actually know anything around here is great. Being the foreigner is great. Being the odd sheep, the black sheep, the funny one, isn't difficult if you're going with your heart. Being the odd one out in a group is actually quite good. Becoming one, I feel that's what this month has become for me, becoming one. Becoming one, what that means, and it doesn't mean separation. It doesn't have to be about discarding of the human mind or the human experience. It's not about silencing oneself and dissolving oneself into the all. It's not actually been this time around about starting up some kind of practice where I can keep on going without remorse. It hasn't been about totally dissolving myself in spirituality or in any kind of doctrine. This is not a Buddhist lifetime. This is not a spiritual one either. It is just a human one now. It's a human life where I'm just drawing upon my own courage. I'm drawing upon my own courage and my own perseverance without the need to become anybody's, without the feeling of being left behind if I'm not with somebody, without the feeling of being alone, because all is completed this time somehow. There is not a feeling of being left to the side because I'm not a woman in the sense that society likes to see them. I don't like that society likes to see me a certain way sometimes, but here amongst people who understand me, here amongst friends, I do not feel that I have to become any type of anyone, which is amazing. And all I had to do was just show up. Show up and just do it. Dream it bigger. Dream it bigger than you know. And before you lose touch with your dream, you got to make it real. Because if you are losing touch with a dream of yours, the moment is being lost. It's really important to touch base with your dreams and to remember who you've always wanted to be, but to be true to the moment that is infinite. I don't feel that before I really ever knew what another human life in my life would be like until I met my family. And sometimes your family is not who you think they are. And it can be for a lifetime or it can be for a few days, but family is everywhere. I feel that this month has shown me that people that pretend to be yours aren't, and that people that can't help being around you are. There's going to always be some kind of a energy around me, I feel, where people just are drawn to me, and I've got to be in touch with that instead of trying to merge with people who do not perhaps need me there. People will come when it's time. That's the main thing, and if they are not there, there's no point of restraining yourself with them. There is no point of being one with a person who's not ready to receive. There is a lot of giving and taking in this world that is not appropriate because we can't taste the moment, we can't see it, and that makes it really hard because we become a game that we do not want to play for ourselves. I do not feel that this month has brought me that much interest in another, and by that I feel free. I do not feel that my life was committed this time around to another human in any sense. They were just friends that came and gone. But that made me really, really identify inside with who I'm actually now becoming. Being single has been probably one of the biggest illusion busters in my life, and it's been one of the best opportunities to really become. And it hasn't been about any type of negative self-talk this time or any overprotective stimulation of another person or any need for connection to anybody. It has not been about preparation of myself for the new frontier of relationship. It has not been about connecting up to other people to maybe portray myself as innocent or successful or fun enough to be with another person anymore. And I've noticed that I've had a lot of damage done through my past because I haven't actually been able to assimilate my unity without having to have another person there. I feel I really come to terms with the fact that I'm a needy person. And the need, I think, is to be liked. It is to be liked because I feel there is a defense mechanism inside that feels if I'm not liked and loved and cared for by an environment that I will not be useful, or I will not be loved or cared for, I will not need to be there. I do not need to be for or with, and that feels good. There are still parts of me that I understand are conditioned. I do not understand what my body is for. As I'm a female that doesn't want to have children or be married, it is really, really strange to be a physical human, actually, still, which I really struggle with. I feel that my health and well-being have been created by the peace that I have experienced. I do not feel that having this peace has been for no reason. I feel that the peace that I feel around is the peace inside. I do not feel that many of us understand what peace is, but I think I've noticed that for me it is definitely about the countryside, actually. It's about the countryside and being away from it all. I understand that for me peace is not the city where I can go and buy or go and be seen at places where I don't need to be. I don't any longer feel that the city life is for me. I don't feel that the city life has anything to offer anybody actually anymore. The systems of this world do not any longer interest me. Or identified myself as a free person, but I've actually understood recently in this month that I really am not. I really am not. I only have the tip of the iceberg of my freedom. I don't feel that I could just take off and go somewhere like I would have done in a different dimension, in a different version of myself, maybe in a parallel life. There is a part of me that is awake to that now, and there is a very strong push towards me, the human, to be able to travel and to unite with people all over the world and be free, just be free and be caring and be there, just to be there for myself as I evolve and I'm interested in life more. And I've noticed that with age I've decided or designed for myself a life where I can interest myself more and not less. That's something that's very, very real and healing for me, actually. I've designed a life in the past where I could just be of use or of purpose to another, which has not brought me much. I understood very little, I feel, of myself before. I think I've understood very, very little, and so little that at times it hurts to be me. But this has been a very, very interesting development for me, because I've actually known it all along that I was meant to be some type of freak, or something that wasn't actually meant to be admired, or maybe was even feared. And my mother's really showed me that when I came back to Wellington. But this feeling of being a freak is not enough. I don't want to feel like a freak anymore. I actually want to feel like the free of the idea of freak altogether, free of the idea of what is and what isn't interesting in a woman, or what isn't interesting for a human being to be. I have no idea, which has become a certain type of blessing that has really pushed me out of my comfort zone, because I've actually realized as you become more free, there's just a new comfort zone to achieve. Really, really appalled at myself for not taking the advantage of life, the opportunity to travel before. At 31, I'm only realizing that life is meant to be forever. Life is meant to be forever spinning in a dance, in a unique evolution out of comfort zones. This Aries month of April really has pushed me towards things that I never thought I would achieve by myself that I have. But the thing that I actually really enjoyed during this month is definitely the companionship of friends. You know, companionships are very actually interesting for me, because I've noticed that in the past I've based them on my sexuality, or my ability to keep people around, because I've always been afraid of being seen, I think. And as I'm sort of growing up this year, and I'm understanding that being seen is quite all right, and being all of me is quite appropriate, it has been really interesting to show myself to these people and to myself as just me. It's been a very natural ride, and I feel that key to that ride has just been an appropriate behavior, becoming more inappropriate with time, and healing myself through openness about the simplest of things and the more truths, hidden truths. The expression of everyday things without paranoia of being not seen and not useful to another person has really expanded me. The ability to just say what I think and do what I wish has been the optimum choice. These choices are always going to be there. There's not ever going to be a path where I am not any longer able to do something. That's something that is actually really interesting to see, is paths are open, and it doesn't really matter if you want to reclaim your path later or if you want to reclaim it now, because optimum paths are always open. And that's something that I've really seen for other people, but not me. I've been quite content sitting behind the computer and helping people understand themselves and understand what life is about, but I've actually noticed that I haven't actually had a lot of understanding of myself, because I felt removed. I felt isolated, I feel, before this month, as I've sort of been giving advice to people online without really having enough experience myself, or having enough freedom in my own experience. Another thing I've learned actually is that experience can change in just a day, in a heartbeat. There's lots of things that happen between people and between different beings in this universe, and between ourselves, different parts of ourselves, that are permanent, or they are life-changing energy. Sometimes you might look at someone's face and your heart beats, and their heart beats, or they say something small and it sort of purges you out of you and creates a brand new you. It's really quite interesting, but we change each other so much, and we alchemize each other's lives so much. We change each other so much, we shift each other so much. We are so delicate. We are more like water, or more like oil and water. We're not really people. We are not as robust as we like to think we are. We're very gentle and very delicate, and that's something that's been a worry to me now, because I've understood in the recent months that I don't have to work so hard on people, I don't have to push so hard, I don't have to try. When we try and when we really take ourselves to the limit sometimes, when we see that there's a lot of blockages in the people around us, or we are blocked off from our purpose, we don't have to keep on dancing that dance. We can just see that everything is water, everything's water, everything is so solid, but it is not. Nothing is really that grave, nothing is really that deep. And through that, I feel understanding that nurture and a delicate touch is actually what does it sometimes. Just a delicate word, just a delicate look, just a delicate feeling is all it takes sometimes to change somebody's life around, and something that I never really seen before in myself.